Hello everyone, I'm Fidaiyatul Milah. My three last two numbers are 029, and now I would like to present my analysis about the feminism concept in Zootopia animated movie. Here is the content that I would like to discuss. There is a synopsis about the movie, gender inequality faced by the characters, women representation in the movie, and the conclusion. So, Zootopia is an animated movie produced by Walt Disney, released in 2016, which tells the story of a super modern metropolis for mammals, except humans, called Zootopia. All kinds of animals, both predators and prey, live together in this city. The movie depicts the main character, Judy Hopps, a young female rabbit who is physically weak, small, and cute. She is also described as having goals, ideals, willpower, and unyielding. In her effort, she succeeded in realizing her dream of becoming the first rabbit policewoman and even becoming the best graduate of the police academy. However, the social value in the movie say that rabbits should work as carrot farmers and avoid all kinds of danger. Her father gives advice to her. Her mother is proud because she gave up her dream and will not try new things to avoid failure. Ironically, despite being the best graduate since the first time she worked in an institution, Judy faced gender inequality and was assigned to a job that was considered safe and less challenging, which is being a traffic police officer. As I said before, that Judy faced gender inequality in this movie, and basically there are two female characters who face gender inequality in the police institution, namely Judy, the protagonist, and Bellwether, the antagonist. In the picture is a scene when Judy was assigned as traffic police since she first arrived at the institute because it was considered safe for a female rabbit. Bellwether scene is when Judy asks Bellwether to look for CCTV evidence, and at that time she said that it was the first time for her to do important work because as long as she was a secretary, the chairman only worked shift for trivial things and was always treated arbitrarily. However, they both address the issue differently. Judy chooses to try according to the system and reach achievements, while Bellwether chooses violence to change the situation by poisoning several predatory animals to become wild again. These two ways are their effort to fight for gender equality that they face and get the same treatment. The next is women representation, about how Judy as the main female character is portrayed in the movie. Everyone will find their own version of interpretation of this film, but gender inequality is a core aspect of this movie. So if we see from feminist perspective, Judy struggles with two stereotypes, which are women's stereotypes for gender construction and stereotypes for her family's social class. In this movie, she has a two-sided picture where she is depicted in accordance with the traditional gender construction of women and resistance toward the gender construction. Judy is depicted as similar to the traditional gender role of women, which still involves female traits such as irrationality, weakness, caring, dependence, and emotional in several scenes in the movie, which shows that she is still a woman. Moreover, she struggles in the field of work that is supposed to be for men and as a weak and fearful animal because of their position as prey for predators. Predators here as men who dominated the women's life, so it symbolizes inferiority. She is also passively depicted when she is treated unequally in the institution, and she can protest what her superiors say and order, even though she became the best graduate just for being the rabbit and the first woman in the Poland. This is the scene when Chief Bogo refuses Judy's complaint, and he also doesn't care that she is the best graduate. Here, even though she is a rabbit, she is still depicted as an object for male audiences. Although Judy's appearance doesn't symbolize an erotic object, it does show the curve of a woman in the form of a cute rabbit that can trigger men to protect her. Judy is also described as weak, vulnerable, not independent, and dependent, so she can fight alone but needs help from Nick to solve cases, and those are how Judy is described according to the traditional gender construction. You can look how Judy's whole curve is like the standard of women in general, and the two pictures below are the scenes when she asks Nick to help her to solve the case. On the other hand, Judy is described as a woman who is against the concept. Although this movie shows Judy as an object by her environment, Judy herself shows resistance to that concept. She refuses to be weak, passive, and stagnant. Judy, as a bunny girl, fights for her dream of becoming a police officer. Despite many obstacles from both her friends and her parents, she remains optimistic about her future and refuses to become a farmer. This shows the rejection of the gender construction of women, which is described as pessimistic and stagnant. Those pictures are when she got underestimated from her friends and her parents about her dream. She also tries harder, trains, and studies hard even when everyone else is sleeping. Because Judy knows that her physical strength is not enough, she shows her strategy and intelligence to fight her enemies. This scene shows women can do better than men and shows that women and men are equal, and women can overpower men when women are serious about trying to win them over. The two pictures above are the scene when she always gets gender discrimination in Police Academy, but she never gives up and always tried harder even when everyone is sleeping. Then she can prove herself with her intelligence to fight her enemies. And her determination to prove her existence in the midst of the gender injustice she faced. Despite being under tremendous pressure from her superiors, Judy managed to make achievements by solving cases and proving that the judgment of those around them is wrong, and she deserved to be recognized as a police officer. After she got achievement to solve the case, she asked to give speech in front of the new students of Police Academy. Although Judy is portrayed as a struggling woman character and as an independent woman, there is still male dominance which limits Judy unconsciously and makes her depend on Nick to help her solve cases. This condition shows that sometimes, in some situations, women are incomplete and to success they need men to complete their existence. However, Judy's dependence on Nick doesn't really affect the storyline. It can be concluded that Judy's overall action shows resistance to the gender construction, which contains motivation for the audience. Thank you everyone, and feel free to ask any question and give comments in Hebat Learning.